All right guys, we're back at Timms Harley Davidson today to do another review. Today it's the 2021 Road King Special. I've been wanting to do this review for a while, but this is the first special that Timms has gotten in, and it just happens to be in the Snake Venom colorway. So although this is a review about the Road King Special, I will compare it to the Road King Standard just so you can kind of see the difference in what you're getting for the money. The Road King Special comes in 3 different colors. Vivid Black starts at $23,000. You can also get it in the Deadwood Green, which is going to add $450 to the price, or the Snake Venom colorway, which is the bike we're going to review today, which adds $1,000 to that price. So I thought we would start with a walk around of this bike just so you can see the paint on here. This is the Snake Venom colorway. So it shifts from a green to a purple depending on how the light hits it. And I'll take another video for you guys when we get this out to do the test ride, just because it's a little more dramatic of a color shift in the sunlight. But as you can see on camera, depending on how the light's hitting it, it changes pretty dramatically even under these lights. So that's pretty cool. To me, it's pretty obvious that that's a custom color, but Harley does put that on your gas tank just to let you and others know that it's custom. I don't love that they did that. I do like the font that they chose for this bike. I just don't like that circle with the custom paint written on there. I think that's pretty self-explanatory on a bike like this. So we'll start up here on the front. This big, nice nacelle that makes the Road King stand out. You know, you can kind of spot it from a ways away. And then they've put the Daymaker headlight in there, blacked out to match the bike, which I think looks really good. But you'll notice there's no fog lamps on this bike like they do on the Road King Standard. It does look a lot cleaner. Now you have a little bit less lighting, but it does look a lot better. I'll show you that Road King Standard now so we can compare the front end of these two. So this is the front end of your Road King Standard. You can see it still looks really good, but those extra lights with the turn signals hanging down do kind of add a little bit of clutter to the front of this bike. The trade-off being better visibility. The Standard also comes with that quick detach windshield, whereas the Special does not. Just so you could get a better idea of the comparison, I popped that windshield off really quick so you can see the Road King Standard's pretty clean without that windshield on the front. Like I've mentioned in my other videos, if you're new to Harley or never had a bike with a detachable windshield, all you do is pull it towards you and lift up. It comes out really, really easy, but it also is very secure going down the highway. It doesn't move around or give you the impression that it could come off. And just that one little step really changes the look of that Road King Standard. So Harley put the Prodigy wheels on the Road King Special. That's the same wheel that you're gonna get on your Street Glide or Road Glide Special. Whereas your Road King Standard is going to come with the Slicer, the second version of the Slicer 2, which is not a bad looking wheel either. I kind of like that machine finish, but they do the Prodigy wheel in all black since the bike is blacked out. Also, like your Street Glide and Road Glide Special, you do get the stretch bags on the Road King Special, which like we've talked about a few times on this channel already, most people like. I prefer the standard bags, but I think I'm the minority in that. But not only do you get the stretch bags on the back, the tail section is much cleaner. So your turn signals are built into the brake light, so it's just 2 separate little lights there. Whereas on your Road King Standard, you have this big bar with the turn signals hanging off. They're pretty big, oversized turn signals. The orange just doesn't really look that great, the tail light. So if I went with the Road King Standard, I would definitely clean this up a little bit back here. I also wanted to show you guys the seat. These Road King Standards come with the studs on the seat. Now, there's not that many of them, but it does kind of give it a little older look and older feel, a little more classic design. Whereas your special model comes with the standard seat that they're putting on all the Street Glides, Road Glides, and Road King Special. Now up here on the tank, I'm surprised that on the dash they didn't do that smooth CVO style console that the Road Glide Special and Road King Special got. They left this same dash, same console. You still have the dummy fuel cap over here with your fuel readout. You still got the analog speedo, and then the small little screen there with all your digital readout information. In case you haven't seen what I'm talking about, this is the Street Glide Special, and this is the new dash that they're doing for 2021. So they moved your gas cap over to the right, but you can see how much more low profile and streamlined that center console is. I think that would look really, really good on the Road King Special, and I'm curious why they didn't do that. Like your other special models in the touring lineup, you did get this new engine guard for 2021, a lot smaller, low profile, but one complaint that I'm hearing from a lot of people is that you can't put the lowers on there. I would imagine Harley has to have something in the works because they know that's going to be something people are going to want to add, and obviously they're going to want to make their money on that part. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with some lowers that could mount to these new engine guards pretty soon. So to me, the Road King Special is just much more of a modern design. You've got your painted fillers here on the back. Your hinges for your saddlebags are painted to match. You don't have that little trim piece down at the bottom of the front fender, which isn't a bad look. It's just way more of a classic look. So I think cleaning up those few little items, painting that cover over the ignition, little things like that, the painted forks to match, or powder coated rather, just really make this bike look a lot more modern. So if we were to compare the Vivid Black model, so the Vivid Black Road King Special to the Vivid Black Road King Standard, you'd be at $3,500 difference. Now obviously with the Special you get the 114, which to me carries a lot of weight, but I don't know that I necessarily would have to have the Special model for the $3,500 difference, since there are a few simple things you could do to the Road King Standard for less than that and have a very similar looking bike, unless you wanted to go with the blacked out option. Obviously you're gonna get well over that $3,500 mark by the time you take all of this stuff off, go have it powder coated, and then get it all put back on. So if you want the blacked out look, definitely go with the Special, but if you like chrome, I think you could get almost the same bike minus the 114 for a little bit less money. So my final thoughts on the Road King, I absolutely love this bike. It's great for around town. You can do your trips. You can throw a windshield on it if you want the fairing. You can add some Bluetooth speakers if you want some music. It's really just a great all-around bike. Great value for the money that you're spending. To me, it's one of the best looking Harleys that they make. Great for two-up riding, but doesn't feel big and bulky if you're just riding solo. So I'm definitely a big fan of the Road King, especially the Special model. Now let's get this thing out, go for a test ride, and see what it's about. All right, I'm pretty excited for this because I can't remember the last time I was on a Road King, and although these test rides really aren't that long, I do like riding these Road Kings. I like the look too. I think the big thing for me when I was a kid was this big nacelle on the front. Just really clean, cool, hot rod looking bike. Also, when I was younger, you know, any of the club guys that I was around before the Dynas and club style, what we consider club style bikes now, were cool. A lot of the club guys were riding Road Kings. So that probably influenced me a little bit as well. As you can probably see, the gas light is on, but we're gonna go for it. It says we've got like 50 something miles and no waiting at the red light, so that's awesome. So I will say, just first impressions, you know, we're not going that fast and I can already feel the wind, which is fine. But like we were talking about earlier inside the dealership with the windshield, makes a huge difference to not have a fairing or a windshield. I started to just wear my vest and not my
actual hoodie underneath, but glad I changed my mind on that. You can see I forgot my gloves, but all good. It's nice and sunny, but still a little chilly. So I typically run a little bit taller bar on my bikes than what this is, but I do like the natural position of this one. The road glide comes to mind. I do not like the position that puts your hands in from the factory. I think the street glide I mean, for factory, it's decent. Yeah, it's a nice, smooth bike. As with every other bike we've ridden with the 114, plenty of power. The Road King that I reviewed, I think one of the first review on this channel, 2020 Road King, with all the cosmetic stuff done to it, speakers, bars, all that kind of stuff, but no engine work, just a tuner and a 2-into-1 pipe. That thing made so much torque. I mean, not that this one doesn't, you know, for a bone stock bike, but for some reason that thing was just super crazy. Yeah, this to be a 800, somewhere around 850-ish pound bike, this thing just feels so easy, you know. It just kind of flows. You can kind of throw it into this turn, feels comfortable. You do get that big touring frame. Give it the bump test here on the bridge. Yeah, no big deal. You could have easily hit it a lot faster and not had any problems. So for me personally, what I would do to this bike, I would change the bars, like I said, get a little bit taller. I want to be a little bit more narrow with my grip. I would throw some suspension on here. Not that this is bad, but you do notice when you go with the higher end suspension, whether it be Legend or Öhlins or Progressive or any upgrade of suspension, is a very noticeable difference on these bikes. Definitely do the stage 1. You've already got the breather on these, so all you have to do is the tuner and the pipe. I like the look and the sound of that Two Brothers pipe that was on the bike I was just talking about, so that would be a good possibility. Get on it just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, as you would expect, tons of power. I mean, that's not hammering this bike, so pretty nice. Anyway, going back to the stage 1 and the pipe, the tail section with the stretched bags, that's kind of one of the negatives of the stretched bags, is that if you run a shorter exhaust or a single side exhaust, to me it looks funny from the back that the cutouts are there for the exhaust and there's nothing there to fill that space. And that's one of the reasons that I kind of like the standard bags a little bit more. This paint, I don't know how much the GoPro's picking up. I'm sure it's getting a little bit of the tank, but this paint in the sun looks really good. So with that, the paint looks really good. It's very cool. This is not me personally. I'm not the kind of guy that has paint like this on my bike, but I can appreciate it, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot of colors that Harley does that I really, really like, but it's not for me personally, you know, on my personal bike. But based on what, you know, I'm seeing on YouTube, people are really loving this color. So I think Harley did good with that. yeah, this is definitely one of those bikes that I kind of wish the, oh, no wave back. How rude, sir. Just kidding. This is one of those bikes that I wish I had more time and it wasn't a brand new bike. I just go for a little bit longer of a ride, but we don't want to rack up miles on this thing. And I've got more videos to make for you guys. So let me know in the comments, like, I'm trying to get these out as quick as I can, especially as far as the reviews. You know, honestly, it's just kind of trying to beat people to the punch on the review of certain bikes, but I'm limited to what Timms gets in when they get it in, and sometimes they get one in that I want to review and it sells before I get a chance to do that. So it is what it is, especially with the comparison videos. We have to have two bikes there at the same time, which is hard. So Harley had mentioned kind of dialing things back just a little bit, and I haven't spoken to any of my friends at the other dealerships, but at Timms I think we definitely see that. I mean, granted, they are selling these things as soon as they come in, so that kind of has a little bit of factor in there, but also it just seems like they don't have as many bikes, you know, for the new models to have just come out in January as they typically would. But I mean, with everything that happened in 2020, production slowing down or stopping or whatever happened, I kind of get that, so it's all good. Yeah, let's wrap up this review. So I'm a huge fan of the Road King. As far as touring bikes go, for me, it's definitely a Road King or a Street Glide, and I'll do that break. Actually, you know what? When I pull in, I'll do the Road King versus the Street Glide video for you guys. Go ahead and hit the like button if you did like this video. If you're not subscribed already, please consider doing so, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see. I'll try to make those videos for you, and as always, thanks for watching.